Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in today's Kill Team Octarius update, we'll be taking a look at narrative campaigns. In the previous update, we covered mission objectives for match play, but in this video, we're going to look at a really fun aspect of the game, and that's narrative campaigns. Okay, here we go. So we're back at the Warhammer Community site. As we scroll down, today's the 30th of July 2021, and here we're going to see how to set up a base of operations and choose your own secret missions in Kill Team's new Spec Ops narrative campaigns. So this sounds great. We're going to learn about narrative campaigns and whatever this new base of operations is. So this is really cool. So in this video, we'll go through the whole article together and cover all the updates that they've included here. So really enjoying the updates so far. It's great to see match play, but for me, narrative campaigns is what it's all about, and so I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in with this. This article is introducing us to the concept of Spec Ops campaigns, and a Spec Ops campaign is the story of your own personal kill team's rise from fresh faces to hardened veterans, picking up unique skills along the way as they tackle cinematic missions and face ongoing consequences of their actions. And it tells us that the faction we pick and the operatives we recruit aren't just faceless drones completing nameless missions, but rather heroes like Sergeant Venner and his faithful sabotaging critical air defences behind traitor lines. And as they complete more missions and gain experience in the field, your kill team is going to take on a character all of their own by earning rare pieces of equipment, suffering battle scars from their injuries, and being awarded honours for their bravery. And every game becomes a new chapter in the tale of your heroes, and every trial and tribulation all the more dramatic for it. So this sounds great. As with any kind of campaign mode of a game, we're going to name our kind of characters, we're going to reward them for heroic moments and record their kind of progress along the way as they pick up new equipment and gear that can kind of give them power-ups ready for the next games of the campaign. So all pretty fun, but I think just from everything we've learned about Kill Team so far, I think the narrative campaigns for this is going to be so good. And as we read on through the article, there's some really good points that they've included here that I think are going to make this really special. So let's keep going and keep reading through the article here. So the great thing about Kill Team Octarius and this update is that it tells us that it's not just about the operatives. So we're going to be finding out about these bases of operations now. And so we won't just be choosing our operatives, and as they often need to operate far from friendly forces for an extended period of time, kill teams set up bases of operations to rest and resupply in between missions. And what begins as a simple hidey hole beneath an abandoned hab block will blossom into a treasure trove of specialist equipment and strategic assets as your kill team completes missions and then earns rewards. So this I'm really liking the idea of, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Core Space, where you've got your kind of spaceship that your crew returns to after their missions, and then they bring their gear back there. You can make improvements to your spaceship, and that has like conditions then that can be applied during future missions and things like that. So that's really good. And also a little bit of boroughs and badges, where you put together your little warband and then you give them a den or a little base. And so I think that's really fun to add to the narrative of things. It also really gives you a good idea of your progression through the different missions in the campaign. So I really like how they're doing this. And also, not does it just play into the narrative of the game, but I love the idea of like building your base of operations and maybe including it in some terrain during different missions and things like that. So yeah, really like this. But let's keep going and read through where it tells us that all of the details are going to be noted down in our narrative data slate and data cards, and these are going to help us to keep track of the ongoing story of our operatives, as well as all the things that they'll pick up along the way during their missions. Right, and here we're getting a look at this narrative data slate and narrative data card. And so you see we've got lots of information here about things we haven't heard about yet, like requisition points, asset capacity, loads of other things. We've got quirks, so we don't know what that is. This is called By the Book, the quirk that's written down here. So going to be great to find out more about that. We've got like a history, base of operations. So this is the trench section for the Death Corps of Krieg. And then we've got the keywords that we know about. And then we've got a thing called stash. So these would be the items I guess they're going to pick up along the way. And here we see a rosary, topographical chart, trench shovels, and then we've got strategic assets as well. So it looks like you can add to your actual base, and here they've got a med bay, so that's going to maybe help you recover. So if your fighters get injured during a mission, they can come back, recover in the med bay, and then play in future missions recovered. So as we read on the article, you'll see that the way they're doing this is quite interesting. How if a player gets injured, you can bring them back in the next mission, or you can leave them in your base to have further recovery. So I'm really liking that, and we'll find out more about that in a second. But now let's look at this narrative data card, and here we can see that we've got the operative name, their type, they're going to get battle honours, we're going to keep note of their battle scars, and then any weapons they have. We've got their specialism, which we've seen, rested tally, we don't know about that yet, and then we've got experience points, and then down here some little what look like kind of medals or trophies with little boxes to tick off as we work through it. And it does tell us in the article that the core objective of our kill team during a narrative play campaign is to complete spec ops or spec ops and multiple stage missions that require you to fulfill special conditions across multiple games. By completing each step or operation of your chosen spec op, you'll learn a commendation, granting even greater rewards than usual and marking a key achievement in your kill team's career. So I think that these little tick boxes here must be those commendations. So as we go through, we tick them off, and then we can get more rewards because of that. These data slates and data cards are really giving us some kind of new things to look forward to here and find out about. So lots of interesting points in here. So really great, this update today. I can't wait to find out what these quirks do and things like that, and just how we can add strategic assets to our base of operations, and also what those strategic assets might be. So there's going to be lots to learn once we get the game. I really can't wait for the release. A lot of people are asking when, and in the preview online they did say it's going to be available for pre-order in August, but they didn't give an actual date. And one of my subscribers a couple of weeks ago, when we first started putting videos out, suggested the third week of August would be like a good time for either pre-order or release, based on some of the products they've shown us already and what's in the pipeline to come out. So we don't know for sure, but I think that's a good call. So I'm hoping it's around that time, because I've got tons to paint and get on with in the meantime. But I really can't wait to get it. It looks great. And each day we get updates like this, we're just finding out more and more cool things about the game. So loving this, but let's keep on going down the article. There's some more good stuff to find out. And here it tells us that players who track their chosen spec ops are completely independent of each other. So you can progress your objectives at the speed that best suits you, and your opponent doesn't even have to be playing in a campaign at all for you to carry on your campaign. So as your operations can be completed regardless of the game mode you're choosing, you can keep advancing through your own missions, playing those different games against other opponents. But your narrative campaign is your narrative campaign, and so that's going to help you get a lot more games in for sure. And it says that even if your friends prefer to focus on match play games, you'll be able to progress the narrative play story of your own kill team while you play with them. So that's really good, and I think that really makes it a lot more flexible, so you're not limited to the type of game you have to play if you want to develop that story and narrative of your own kill team. Now we're going to find out a little bit about how injuries affect our operatives during their missions, and it says that no story of daring military escapades would be complete without a few scars earned along the way, and your operatives are no exception. Taking a few bullets or whacks on the head here and there is all part of the kill team life, and even when an unfortunate soldier loses all their wounds in combat, death is still a long way off. Each incapacitated operative rolls a casualty test at the end of the game, fully recovering on a result of 2+, and suffering a more serious injury on a roll of 1. And so this is kind of common, I think, with any like aftermath sequence, certainly with Warcry and things like that. You'll do a little roll, and on a 2+, they're going to be fully recovered. So there's a good chance that most of them are going to be fully recovered, no problem, and ready to get stuck in the next mission battle. But on a 1, you are going to get a more serious injury. And now we're going to look a bit more at how this kind of base of operations affects injured players, and whether it's a rough concussion or a severed limb, injuries are going to continue to affect your operatives until they manage to recover in the downtime after a battle. But beware, accumulating further damage inches your warriors ever closer to an untimely and very permanent death. but luckily a bit of rest and relaxation can work wonders, so you'll need to carefully consider if you want to leave a star operative at home or risk further malady on the battlefield. So this I'm really liking, and it kind of adding to the importance of how strategic we have to be when we start building our roster of 20 different operatives. So this is going to be really fun to see how we can develop those operatives and whether we choose for them to sit out a battle if they've got an injury or take a little risk and bring them back in and see how that affects the game. Because I imagine once you get playing, your operatives will start to build up different equipment and different awards that they've each got, and so putting them out of a mission could have a serious impact on the result and how you play. So this is really interesting, and I imagine this is something you'd see in Blood Bowl, that kind of thing where you can kind of choose to bring them back, but they can get more and more injured and eventually suffer like death. But I think if you can let them sit out and recover in that med bay, bring them back fully recovered, you've got a better chance of having a stronger team in a future mission. So really great. I like that aspect of this, and I'm loving how they're putting this whole narrative campaign together and really focusing on the individual fighters, and the injuries are a really fun part of any narrative campaign for any game. I'd love to know what you think about the rules we've seen for the narrative campaigns in today's update, and also what do you think from that data slate and data card. What do you think they've included in there that kind of give away as to some aspects of gameplay we might not have covered yet in any of the videos? So I'd love to hear your thoughts and add them in the comment section below. It'd be great to hear from you. And if you haven't already, I've done loads of videos for Kill Team with all the updates we've had so far from the Warhammer Community site. So check out all those videos on my channel already. I also made a fun video where I did a comparison between Warcry and this new Kill Team Octarius based on the information we've been given so far, and Warcry is my favourite game. I love it, and so it's so cool that they're really taking Kill Team into a similar direction, but the games are different enough to make them both really interesting, and I love how they're doing the narrative campaign for sure with Kill Team, and that's going to differ slightly with Warcry. So lots to be excited about, and I can't wait for August when this comes out. I hope you're enjoying these update videos, and I'll be making loads more as we get more information, and as soon as we get the game I'll be painting, playing, doing some deep dives on the different factions and going through all the rules as well, so I can't wait for that. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description, and it'd be great to see you there.